Good morning. I am Day. DAA are my initials. I am in recovery from loss, grief, trauma, and addiction. In my years of actively pursuing intentional wellness and recovery, I have found that upon awakening, it is useful to affirm and devote myself to the me of my recovery, the one that ties all of the pieces together gently, lovingly, and sometimes even fiercely to face each day, one day at a time. The one mistake made in the recovery process is to not take the time to use tools offered for strengthening the recovery journey. With these daily affirmations, reflections, devotions, and meditations, walk with me on the recovery journey of hope, renewal, resilience, and self reflection. And remember that you are not alone. Fair use. Strengthening my recovery, meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. On the back of the book are the 12 promises of ACA, which I will now read. The ACA promises. Number 1, we will discover our real identities by loving and accepting ourselves. Number 2, our self esteem will increase as we give ourselves approval on a daily basis. Number 3, fear of authority figures and the need to people please will leave us. Number 4, our ability to share intimacy will grow inside us. Number 5, as we face our abandonment issues, we will be attracted by strengths and become more tolerant of weaknesses. Number 6, we will enjoy feeling stable, peaceful, and financially secure. Number 7, we will learn how to play and have fun in our lives. Number 8, we will choose to love people who can love and be responsible for themselves. Number 9, healthy boundaries and limits will become easier for us to set. Number 10, fears of failure and success will leave us as we intuitively make healthier choices. Number 11, with help from our ACA support group, we will slowly release our dysfunctional behaviors. And number 12, gradually, with our higher power's help, we will learn to expect the best and get it. Fair use. March 15. Promise 3. Fear of authority figures and the need to people please will leave us. BRB, Big Red Book, page 591. As children from infancy through our teen years, we were surrounded by authority figures. This included our family, babysitters, and teachers, those who traditionally deserved respect. But many of these people took advantage of our respect for authority by intimidating us into a submissive role. Our natural tendency to please was exploited by the unreasonable demands placed on us. As adults, our need to people please took a darker turn and robbed us of our ability to enjoy life. Always seeking to please others, we were left waiting for our own turn at getting our needs met. In ACA, the edges of the puzzle of how we became people pleasers slowly start to become clear. We begin to free the roots of our people pleasing habit from the soil of our childhoods. In its place, we plant brand new seeds of hope. Consistent work in our program allows our insight, clarity, and freedom to flourish. No longer fearful of authority and under the compulsion to please, we are emancipated to decide for ourselves whom we need to fear and whom we choose to please. The affirmation reads, on this day, I will continue working the ACA program to further unearth the deep roots of my fear of authority and people pleasing. I choose to be free of any hold they still have over me. Fair use. Today, Emotions Anonymous, March 15th. Reflection for today. We struggled through many days depending on things or people to make us happy, yet nothing outside of us could give us that feeling of security and happiness we sought. Finally, in desperation, we reached out, honestly. By being vulnerable, we began to gain what we had sought from the external. At first, we were quite surprised to find we could create happiness and belonging by our own efforts. The more risk being open, the more we are given. Meditation for today. Because honesty brings me a sense of security, help me to be willing to risk being vulnerable. Today I will remember being vulnerable brings us much of what we need. Fair use. Just for today, daily meditations for recovering addicts. March 15. Feeling a part of. The get togethers after our meetings are good opportunities to share things that we didn't get to discuss during the meeting. Basic text, page 98. After addiction sets us apart from society, isolating us, fear was at the core of that alienation. We believed that if we let others get to know us, they would only find out how terribly flawed we were. Rejection would be only a short step away. When we come to our first NA meeting, we are usually impressed by the familiarity and friendliness we see other recovering addicts share. We too can quickly become a part of this fellowship if we allow ourselves to. One way to start is by tagging along to the local coffee shop after the meeting. At these gatherings, we can let down the walls that separate us from others and discover things about ourselves and other NA members. One on one, we can sometimes disclose things that we may be reluctant to share at the group level. We learn to make small talk at many of these late night gatherings and forge deep, strong friendships as well. With our newfound friends in NA, we no longer have to live lives of isolation. We can become a part of the greater whole, the fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous. Just for today, I will break free of isolation. I will strive to feel a part of the NA fellowship. Fair use. Courage to change one day at a time in Al Anon. March 15. Before Al Anon, forgiveness meant power to me. I could judge the offender, the person who wasn't doing what I wanted, and then exercise my power by showing that I could rise above the offense and magnanimously bestow forgiveness. But I would never forget what had been done. Today I know that forgiveness has nothing to do with power. It does not give me control. Forgiveness is simply a reminder that I am on equal footing with every other child of God. We all do good and noble things at times. On other occasions, we may offend. I have no right to judge, punish, or absolve anyone. When I behave self righteously, I'm the one who suffers. I separate myself from my fellow human beings, focus on others, and keep busy with hateful and negative thoughts. By taking this attitude, I tell myself that I am a victim, so I remain a victim. The most forgiving thing I can do is to remember that my job is not to judge others, but to think and behave in a way that lets me feel good. Today's reminder. I don't know the motives or circumstances that cause another's behavior. I do know that when I hold onto resentment and blame, I occupy my spirit with bitterness. Today, I will find a more nurturing way to fill myself up. There is a quote by Booker T. Washington, and it reads, "You can't hold a man down without staying down with him." Fair use. March 15th. Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. The God idea. When we saw others solve their problems by a simple reliance upon the spirit of the universe, we had to stop doubting the power of God. Our ideas did not work, but the God idea did. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 52. Like a blind man gradually being restored to sight, I slowly groped my way to the third step. Having realized that only a power greater than myself could rescue me from the hopeless abyss I was in, I knew that this was a power that I had to grasp, and that it would be my anchor in the midst of a sea of woes. Even though my faith at that time was minuscule, it was big enough to make me see that it was time for me to discard my reliance on my prideful ego and replace it with the steadying strength that could only come from a power far greater than myself. You just listened to DHB, Devotion, Health, and Beauty Recovery Network, daily affirmations, reflections, devotions, and meditations. Please share, subscribe, like, and most of all, be the you that you are created to be, one day at a time.